Hello my friends, welcome to my channel. So in this episode we are going to be talking about how to detach from anxiety and overthinking, specifically at this time of the year during the winter months. So before we go ahead with the bulk of the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. This will allow me to grow my audience, get better guest speakers, better collabs, and provide you with more value. So go ahead, like and subscribe, and let's get into the bulk of the video. So how to detach from anxiety and overthinking. These are two things that I personally have struggled with for many, many years. And one of the reasons that I do what I do, teach energy healing tools, Kundalini yoga and other yogic practices, is because they've really helped me. They've really helped me over the past 20 plus years to transform, I'm going to say the word transform, anxiety into a different energy. Okay, that's what this video is going to be all about. And hopefully you're going to pick up just a couple of tools that you can start to practice in your daily life. You don't need any equipment. You just need a little bit of awareness of the moment. And I'm going to teach that in this video so that you can start to instantly catch anxiety and overthinking and start to return to a more constructive energy, if you like. Stay until the end because I will give you these tools, and they're very simple and anybody can do them. You don't need any fancy equipment. So stay tuned and we'll get to them later on in the video. So first and foremost, what is anxiety? What is anxiety? And anxiety really can create this intrusive and overthinking mind, right? So we'll talk about anxiety first. What is anxiety? Anxiety, yes, it's an emotion, and it can also be a thought pattern, if you like. But at its core, it's energy. All emotions are energy. Energy in motion. The same as thoughts, thought patterns. At the core of a thought, it's essentially energy. So if we're to think about anxiety as energy, we have the ability to be able to work with that energy because that's what we can do as humans. We can work with energy. Now, energy cannot be created and energy cannot be destroyed, but energy can be transformed. It can be alchemized. So we can change the energy of anxiety or overthinking from something that's destructive and something that's like a weapon. You'll be using it in a reactive way, and that's creating some internal conflict and possibly some external conflict at the same time. We can transform that energy that we're using like a weapon and we're using in a destructive way, and we can create it into a new energy that can possibly be a teacher. We could use anxiety as a gift. We could use it as a constructive mechanism, a tool to be able to move our life forward or learn something. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. So essentially, anxiety and overthinking, really at the core of those two emotions and patterns is energy. So you are the master alchemist of your own energy. At the core of our being, we are energy. So let's talk about that. So if we're to think about anxiety as an energy, we might even, if you've experienced anxiety, which is something that we all experience from time to time, right? Because we all experience varying different emotions because we're humans. Yeah, we all experience varying different energetic states because we are humans. So it's not a bad thing to experience anxiety. It's actually just an extremely normal part of existence. But what we've done over time and what we've been conditioned to do and taught to experience is emotions as essentially either good or bad. So we might think of these, a collection of emotions as being bad emotions because they don't make us feel very good, and a collection of emotions as being good emotions because they do make us feel good, right? And therefore what we've done as humans is we've gone, ooh, I'm going to attach myself to these good emotions and try and push away the bad emotions because I want to feel good and I don't want to feel bad. And I suppose we would put anxiety in this bad emotion box. But if we were start to reframe emotions and start to think of them as tools and just moving energy that we all experience, maybe we can start to see them all as just energy, instead of something that we have to form an identity out of and an attachment out of and allow it to become destructive for our life. Okay? Sure. This is easier said than done, but I'm going to show you some tools at the end of the video, so stay tuned, to be able to work with these emotions. So let's just think of emotions. Let's say we are us as awareness, sitting in our space, in the audience, and the emotions, not good or bad, just emotions, are playing out in front of us like a play. Yeah, there's anxiety popping up, there's happiness popping up, there's sadness popping up, there's some grief popping up. Yep, all of these different emotions sort of popping into our field of awareness, if you like, or the self. And it's how we allow ourselves to shape those emotions and use those emotions as teachers is how that emotion is going to affect us. So let's just have a little look at anxiety. Anxiety as an emotion, as an energy to start with, it's quite an uncomfortable energy. It's a feeling of continuously feeling frantic, uptight, tense, unsettled, worrying about the future often, which then obviously creates this overthinking because we attach this narrative to anxiety, or the mind likes to attach this narrative to anxiety, and we start to become very frantic, right? So it's an unsettling feeling inside of the body. Now, anxiety often resides from a yogic perspective, from a subtle energy or a subtle physiology perspective, in the solar plexus. The solar plexus is the third energy center up, right? And it's related to the digestive system. So these energy centers are essentially what we might call the energy bodies or subtle physiology. Just like there's the nervous system, we've also got the energy system, we've also got glands and organs and the skeletal system, all of these different things inside of the body. And the energy body is one of them. And chakras, essentially, some of the more concentrated areas of energy, little pools, little wheels of energy in the body. So the solar plexus, this third energy center up, just below the diaphragm, at the navel point, is where our emotional body is really the main source of our emotions, the main source of our emotional body. It's also related to our digestive system. You know, so when you see that you're having some emotional turmoil inside of the body, what gets affected very quickly is the digestive system, right? I only know myself from struggling with keeping emotions in, not allowing myself to feel emotions, being conditioned into thinking that certain emotions are bad and certain emotions are good, like we were just talking about, and only expressing some and not expressing others because anxiety is a bad emotion. I shouldn't be feeling it. I need to push it away or hide it. Anger's a bad emotion. I shouldn't be feeling it, so I must keep it in and allow it to bubble up inside. And so all of this stuff, all of this emotional stuff that we go through as humans, bubbles up here in the solar plexus. And the solar plexus is a huge powerhouse of energy. It's a huge powerhouse of energy and emotions. It's got a lot of nerve endings around that area. So it's very, very, very energetically high, that area. Energetically charged, if you like. When we talk about somebody feeling anxious, we often say, oh, she was a bundle of nerves. Or you might refer to yourself as, I'm a bundle of nerves. Really think about that in relationship to that energy center. There's a bundle of nerves in that powerhouse of the solar plexus. And when we are a bundle of nerves and we're not addressing emotions and we're not allowing ourselves to feel emotions, which actually comes from the energy center below, the sacral chakra, and works in this space, right? In this space, in the stomach and in the navel and below and in the hips and all of that area. When we don't allow ourselves to express our emotions, or we struggle to feel an emotion because we've essentially told ourselves it's bad and we're not allowed to feel an emotion, we're trying to push it away instead of allowing ourselves to know that we're a human and emotions are part of the experience of life and they can actually be teachers. We create these imbalances inside of the body. So anxiety essentially is an energy, a frantic energy, a bundle of nerves energy, where we've got this almost like misdirected emotion. It becomes this feeling of constant nervousness inside of the body. And then that feeling in the physical body and in our energy and in our tissues and organs, right, and nervous system, that then creates a thought, or vice versa. But let's just say that feeling, because we've got such a bumbling heightened energy or misplaced energy inside of the body, we might call it anxiety, starts to create the feeling, starts to create that emotion, and then comes to the mind, to the psyche, and we start to create a thought pattern at the same time. And that creates that overthinking state. So we start to attach a narrative to our anxiety. Oh, what if this happens in the future? And if I don't do this, then that might happen. And oh no, so-and-so said this. When I go here, there, and somewhere else, these people might think this about me. Or if I don't do this now, my business isn't going to succeed. Or if I don't do this, and this, all perfect in my day, I'm not going to be the person that I desire to be. You know, all of this nervousness from excess energy in the body that isn't being channeled into a tool, into a gift, which all energy can be, starts to bumble up underneath the surface. Our mind loves to attach itself to things. It creates an identity. I'm anxious because of this, and I need to do this to try and get rid of my anxiety, or I need to do this to make sure that these things don't happen that I've predicted in the future to happen, all of this worry. So we create this thought pattern, we overthink that thought pattern, it starts to create more anxiety in the body, and it becomes this negative loop, right? It becomes this catch-22. Anxiety is essentially an emotion that we can change. Why might we be feeling more and more anxiety at this time of the year? Because as we start to move into winter, it's more of an introspective season, isn't it? In summer, we're busy, we're doing more things, we're very, very active. There's sunlight, sometimes, depending on the place of the world that you live in. If you're from the UK, where I am, there's not always loads of sunlight. And that can also create a lot of anxiety because it really affects the hormones as well. But essentially, when we start to come to this time of the year, more of the winter months, they're known as more of the feminine energy months, right? More of that moon energy, that rest, that digest, that introspection, that sort of closing in. It's darker. And when we start to rest, specifically as women, when we've been taught and conditioned and told to always be on the move, when we start to rest, we feel very uncomfortable because we're not used to resting. Sometimes we feel we're not worthy of resting. Sometimes we feel that there's too much jobs to be done to rest. Sometimes we feel that we won't accomplish what it is we need to accomplish in the future that we've been worrying about, which is a false worry because there's no such thing as the future yet, right? The present is all that there is. But we've directed our energy to a worry in the future. Sometimes we think if we rest and we have those periods of introspection like we do in the winter, we're not going to get it all done. We're not going to be able to get everything done that we've said that we need to do. And this is false because our bodies move with nature. We are nature. And it's so important to have these periods of introspection where we do rest. And that can create anxiety, specifically if we're not used to it, specifically if we're the sort of person that might have this excess solar plexus energy. We're always on the go, we're always in action, we're always in this more masculine energy, if you like, and we're not giving ourselves that time to rest and digest. Restful period like winter can be very challenging, and they can bring up even more anxiety because instead of learning how to use anxiety as a tool, as a teacher, and change that energy into something more constructive, because we haven't learnt those tools, we continue having this excess of energy inside of the body. So let's get into, at the final part of this video today, some very quick tools that you can use in your day when anxiety and overthinking starts to overrun your day-to-day life. Okay, these are things you can do instantly. Yes, if you want to start to build a more sustainable practice of not getting rid of anxiety, because we don't want to get rid of energy. Energy cannot be destroyed. It cannot be created and it cannot be destroyed. And remember, anxiety is energy. We can't destroy anxiety. We don't want to get rid of anxiety. We want to learn how to change anxiety and use it as a gift instead of a weapon. Okay, so we're changing our energy. We're not getting rid of our energy, we're changing it. And that is in our power. So yes, there are more sustainable tools that you can do, as in long-term life changes that you can do to be able to change that energetic state of anxiety into something more constructive. And they might be things like yogic practices. You might take up a certain sport that's quite a grounding sport, such as conscious movement, Tai Chi, Qigong, walking in the woods, jogging, swimming. Any physical activity can be very helpful for anxiety as long as it's coming from a conscious space. So we are allowing ourselves to do that form of exercise as a form of therapy and connectivity instead of self-loathing, which is what sometimes exercise has been put out there as in this Western world, unfortunately. So making sure that our practices that we work with are helpful towards our anxiety. Different yoga practices are fantastic for allowing us to transmute that energy. Kundalini yoga, it works with energy. Maybe some yin, more grounding. Hatha yoga is this grounded energy practice as well. Varying different styles of yoga or other work such as somatics or embodiment or even just lying in a nidra and relaxing to the ground. So there's forms of movement that you can do that are very helpful for anxiety. But what I really want to talk about is 5 steps that you can start to transmute, alchemize anxiety from a weapon to a tool to a gift in your daily life. So I'm going to go through 5 things. And this is stuff that you can do instantly in the day. When you feel that anxiety is creeping in or overthinking is creeping in, you can take these 5 steps and they are very, very effective. So number 1, when you feel like anxiety or overthinking is creeping into your day, the first thing to do is CYS, change your state. Okay, imagine you are slumped on the sofa like this, and that's where your anxiety is happening. You're overthinking, you've got the anxiety. The first thing to do is change your state. So you move from one state, one physical state, one energetic state to another one. It might be that you even just change your posture. Sit up, connect to your breath, connect to maybe a form of movement and maybe a form of sound. So I like to, when I do a CYS, I call this CYS, change your state. It means take yourself from the state where you're experiencing the detrimental emotion and shift your state into more of an assertive state. So you have now become the commander of that emotion. Yeah, the emotion's now like, oh, okay, they've taken command. So change your state. You might lift your posture, open your heart space a little bit. You might connect to your breath. You might do a little bit of movement. You might shake it out. I sometimes clap, and the clapping gives me a little moment to be able to recognize this was the old energetic state of anxiety and overthinking that was becoming a weapon, and it was becoming self-destructive. And this is the new reprogrammed energetic state that I am going to work from this moment onwards. So that's the first thing, change your state. The second thing is writing it down. Okay, so now you've changed your state, how can you reprogram that state? Maybe write down something that you're going to do today to be able to channel that anxiety in a different way, in a more constructive way. Maybe it's something creative, some writing or some art. Maybe you wanted to write a creative post for your business. Maybe you wanted to do a little form of movement that you're not allowing yourself to do because you've been attacked by anxiety. 15-minute yoga class, something like that. Maybe you want to go walking in the nature. Write down or say out loud to the universe, so you've sort of consolidated it, you've put it into an affirmation, what you're going to do right now to change that anxiety from a weapon to a tool, to a gift. Number 3, take action. Actually do the new thing that you have decided to do to transform and alchemize your energy into a new energy. Number 4, repeat. Because anxiety and overthinker will keep coming back throughout the day. But you have to then remember these steps that you can go, okay, change my state, breath, movement, sound, or something that's different to where my energy was. Once I've changed my state, write it down. What am I going to do to be able to channel this anxious energy into a completely different state? Number 3, take action. Do that more constructive thing. Do the walk, do the writing, do the yoga, set up a little part of your business, even if it's just a tiny little post. Find a word, cook a nice meal for the family. And number 4, repeat it. Every time it comes into your awareness that you are out of command of your own energy, do those steps. Change your state, write down your new state, take action on your new state, repeat it, then come back to the awareness. And that is it from me today. So you have the tools to be able to change your anxiety. It takes time and it takes consistent effort. I still do it now in my day because anxiety is not destroyed. We don't want to get rid of our feelings, but we can use them to be able to transform our energy and change them into something that works for us. Lots of love to you all. Don't forget to like and subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye. Hi guys, thanks for watching that video with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It means the world to me. If you would like to watch any more videos, there's 2 here just for you.